So now we're going to start a new chapter, which is the third chapter that you people have in biology. That is my page is stuck. That is how do organisms reproduce. Okay, this is the chapter. And how many of you have this chapter currently going on in your school? Is there anyone?
It's me.
Same here.
Yes.
Same here. Even I have this chapter going on in school.
Okay. All right. Okay. Mariam and Abdul, please switch on your videos. Quickly, quickly.
Miss, didn't we start our environment last class?
Oh, we did?
Right?
You people tell me. What did we start in the previous class? Did I start our environment for you all? See, students, I take many classes, so I don't know where we are. So you only have to tell me. We were doing our environment. This thing.
Yes. We were doing.
Okay, so we like, okay. Did you people have any doubts in this whole entire thing that we discussed? Zainab, you don't have the notes?
No, I must have been absent that day. I had a match.
All right, so let us do a quick revision. So, Abdul, am I audible to you? Am I audible, Abdul? Am I audible or not? Students, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so yes, so your mic does not work, Abdul. Use your mic. See, so talking about the chapter environment, our environment. So first of all, let us discuss what is an environment in fact. So environment is our surrounding, right? The place where we live, that is our environment. Now, our environment is made up of two major components. That is the biotic component, which is the living component, just like the living organisms, right? All the animals, the plants, microorganism, human beings, these all come under the biotic component of the environment. And then there is the abiotic component of the environment. Abiotic component is the non-living component of the world, right? Like air, water, these things are non-living, but we definitely need it for our survival. Talking about what an ecosystem is. So ecosystem, it comprises of all the biotic, which is the living component, and the abiotic components interacting with each other in a given area. For example, if we talk about the forest. So a forest has tall trees, it has grasses also. Then apart from that, it has so many birds, animals. So all of them, they live sort of like in an integrated way, or they interact with each other in that particular given area. Clear? So that is the ecosystem for you. Then comes the biotic factors, right? Meaning the biotic components, like I told you, it will be all the living organisms that are there, not just plants and animals, but also microorganisms are also there, right? They are also living. And human beings and everything comes under the biotic factors. Talking about the abiotic factors, so these are the factors that are non-living, such as sunlight, temperature, then there is water, rainfall, soil, sun, and minerals. Like all of these, the non-living components, but they are the source of energy, they are the source of, you can say, uh, water is there, right? Water is one of the most important component of our ecosystem. And just like that, this is like how they contribute to the ecosystem. Moving forward, let us see what are the various examples of the ecosystem. So our ecosystem broadly can be classified into two types, that is artificial ecosystem and natural ecosystem. Two types of ecosystems are there. Now, natural one, just like the name suggests, this kind of ecosystem would have the appearance of those structures or the, you can say, components that have been formed by the nature. There is no involvement of human beings in the artificial, in the natural ecosystem. Then comes the artificial or the man-made ecosystem. So this is the one that we have made it on our own. This is not naturally present in the world. So the aquarium, the crop field, all of these would come under the artificial ecosystem. Under the natural ecosystem, we'll have forest ecosystem, right? There are so many organisms that live in the forest. Then we have pond ecosystem. There are so many fishes and so many aquatic organisms that live in the pond. Then grassland and desert, these are the examples of natural ecosystem. Now the ecosystem, like I told you, it has biotic and abiotic component. Now under the biotic, we have discussed that living organisms come here. But what happens is that now we have classified these living organisms into groups. We have made groups for them. For example, the biotic components have producers, not the movie producers, the producers of our world. Okay. Then there is consumers, and lastly, there are decomposers. Now, when we talk about producers, so these are those organisms that make the food for the whole entire world, and that is the plant. Right? The plant synthesizes the food, it also gives out oxygen. So all of these things, they are performed by the producers. Then comes consumers. The name only suggests that they will be consuming stuff. They can't make their own food, so they'll be consuming. Now, under the category of consumers, we have primary consumer. Primary consumer are those that directly feed on the plants, meaning they are herbivores. They directly feed on the plants. Then the secondary consumers, they are the ones that feed on the primary consumers, such as the carnivores. And lastly, there is the tertiary consumer that would feed on the secondary carnivore. So if you see over here that the plants, these are the producers, they get eaten by the grasshopper. So in this case, the grasshopper becomes the primary consumer, right? It is a herbivore. And then these grasshoppers, they get eaten by the smaller birds. So we say that the smaller bird over here, they are the secondary carnivore. Or so you can say primary carnivore. Lastly, there is the bigger bird that eats the smaller bird, and we call it as the top carnivore or the secondary carnivore. Clear, students? Any doubts up until now?
No.
Okay. Now, talking about what the producers are and what they do. Now, producers, they are all the green plants, blue-green algae, and they can make their own food from inorganic substances. Like they can use carbon dioxide, they use water to make their own food, and we know that it happens in the presence of chlorophyll and it happens in the presence of sunlight or the light energy. So producers, like if you remove all the producers from the world, we'll all die. Okay, because not only they provide food for us, but they also provide oxygen for our survival. Now, since they make their own food, they are known as producers. They produce their own food. They are also called as autotrophic organism, wherein the word auto means self and trophic refers to the nutrition. So the kind of nutrition where the organism makes its own food is known as autotrophic nutrition. Now, in the case of aquatic ecosystem, there's a different story. Like because in the aquatic ecosystem, you will not find a land like how it is a dry land on earth, like the land area. But in the aquatic system, you will find aquatic plants, you will find aquatic animals, right? Now, in like just like how on the land, the plants are the producers. Same way, in the aquatic system, Planktons are the producers. Planktons. Okay, have you ever heard about plankton, students? Hmm? Plankton? How many of you have seen SpongeBob SquarePants? You've seen? Okay. In the SpongeBob SquarePants, have you ever seen that structure that has two antennae? It's green colored, very tiny in size, right? That's a plankton. That's how a plankton actually looks like. And you know that Patrick is a starfish, right? Same way, SpongeBob, the lead, that is the sponge. You know, in the aquatic world, there is an animal that looks like a sponge. The whole entire group that actually looks like a sponge. So don't take SpongeBob SquarePants lightly. It is a very well thought cartoon. Okay, so it has all the aquatic organisms. So that green structure that actually works like a villain in that cartoon show, I think so. That is a plankton. Now, plankton are the producers in the case of aquatic ecosystem. They are the producers, meaning they synthesize the food. Since the normal land plants will not be obviously present in the aquatic ecosystem, so planktons will be doing the work. Now, these planktons, they are of two types: phytoplanktons, zooplanktons. The word phyto, wherever you see the word phyto, always remember it is related to the plants. Wherever you see the word zoo, related to animals. So phytoplanktons, these are microscopic plants that are found in the aquatic habitat, and they freely float on the surface of water, and we call it as phytoplanktons. It is microscopic aquatic plant. Talking about zooplankton, so these are the microscopic aquatic animals that freely float on the surface of water. The example is protozoa. Okay, so phytoplanktons and zooplanktons are the two kinds of planktons that are found in the aquatic system, but out of which phytoplanktons make the food. They are autotrophic, or you can say they are the producers in the aquatic life. Clear? After that comes the consumers. These are the second class that comes under the biotic component of the ecosystem. Now, consumers are the ones that cannot make their own food. So, they are heterotrophic in nature. Heterotrophic means that they are dependent either directly or indirectly on the plants. Now, these are the organisms which consume other organisms or their product as their food, isn't it? We consume the plant products such as vegetables and fruits and all of that, but there are many organisms that feed on those organisms that feed on the plants, isn't it? Just like how a lion feeds on a deer because the deer feeds on the grass. So it's just like that. Now all the animals, they are consumers. Now, talking about the consumers, these are the various kinds. We have herbivores, we have carnivores, parasites, and omnivores. These are the consumers. Okay, now we'll slowly discuss each one of them. But first, you people note down till here.
Yes, we wrote this last class.
Yes, I'm just giving like Zainab to, write a little bit of it. Okay, Zainab, you
Yes.
make this chart. Okay, because
Okay.
this is important. It'll give you a rough idea of everything.
Ma'am, dead. Done.
All of you are done, students?
Done.
Done, students?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Done.
Any doubts up until now, students?
No. Done.
Okay, any doubts up until now, students? All right, now moving forward, let us see the first, that is the herbivores. Now, all of you know about herbivores already, right? These are the organisms that feed on the plant directly. So they are the primary consumers, right? They are the ones that you can say directly feed upon the plants or the producers. The herbivores, they are also known as the primary consumer or the first order consumer. The organisms that would come under this would be deer, rabbit, goat, cattle, all of the examples that you people already know. After that comes the carnivores. These come under the consumers yet again, but these are the second order consumers, right? Because they will not feed on the plant. They would feed on the organism that feeds on the plant. So carnivores, they feed on the herbivores. So these organisms which consume the other organisms. Carnivores that feed on the flesh of herbivore, they are called as primary carnivores, such as the snake, frog, fish, jackal, all of these would come under the primary carnivore. Now, the carnivores that feed on the primary carnivores, imagine those carnivores that will feed on the primary carnivore, we call them as the secondary carnivores, such as the tiger, lion, eagle, vulture, all of these would come under the secondary carnivores. And lastly, there is the top carnivores, meaning these are the carnivores, they are not eaten by any other organism. They are the top ones, they are the predators, right? But they will not be eaten by any other organism. So the carnivores which are not preyed upon by any other carnivore, we call them as the top carnivore. Such as the best example is a lion. Have you ever heard about any organism that eats the lion?
Dinosaur.
What? Dinosaur. Do you have a proof that they eat lions?
Just kidding. No.
No. So there is no organism that will in fact eat the lion, isn't it? So lion is the top carnivore here. So always remember, any organism that is not used as a food by any other organism, we call it as the top carnivore. Any doubts up until now, students? This is all very basic, simple, easy, tiny, miny
Ma,
things. Hmm? Yes, say,
don't
tell me.
hyenas eat lions though?
Huh?
Don't like hyenas eat lions?
Yeah, they do, but when the lions die, meaning
Uh,
when the flesh is lying around, they would come and eat it. But have you ever heard a hyena hunting a lion? No, you'll never hear that because lion is the top carnivore. It will hunt, but no one can hunt it. Right? Just like us, we humans, we are also top carnivores. No one hunts us. Right? Getting my point? Now, when the organism dies and then some other organism would come and eat it, that is different. But when we talk about the nutrition in terms of this aspect, the carnivore, herbivore aspect, so it is always hunting. Okay. Then comes the omnivore. Now, these are the organisms that feed upon both plant and animals, right? They have a dual diet system. So, such as human beings, we feed, there are so many of us that are vegetarians, and then there are non-vegetarians, and then there are those that feed on both. Then crows and bears, they are omnivores. Okay, now you people note this down.
Done.